private sector, energy infrastructure, PSST. I've done the homework here. Implementation keeps popping up. And the reason you have some in bold is because that's what everyone is posting. So if exports, for those of you who haven't been part of our 10-year journey, Dr. Albert started this really cool thing. He makes us do his homework for him. And so the reason some are larger than the others is because that's what everyone is putting up. So at the moment, and again, we were talking about AI yesterday, Wani. Yeah, this is, how AI is picking up. So the bigger it's because everyone is saying the same thing. Enforcing implementation, tourism keeps standing out, infrastructure, implementation. Oh, by the way, tourism, as we talk about tenfold growth, tourism needs 25% growth. As everyone is growing by 10, the average, tourism has been asked to grow 25-fold in the 14 years. So that's why tourism, I see, is popping up here. E-mobility, PSST. Your money you're giving to Kira Motors, it is showing up also here. Mining, yes. I think that is, that must be Humphrey. He's over posting. Mining. Yes. We must end corruption. I totally agree. Yes. And I think OWC shared a very nice note. I'll pass it on to the PSST. Brigadier General wrote to me a question. He never found time to ask. He said, Brigadier General John Baptist Mulindwa is here from OWC. He's the Director of Value Addition. He mentioned that all this we are discussing will not work unless we eliminate corruption. Possibly total annihilation is what he called it. Brigadier General, your Ame language is very difficult. So how many comments do we have? Menti, how many have submitted? I need to check. 95 of 132. So what happened to the other 40? Now we have, 134. What happened to the others who logged in? You're still thinking about your comment? But we really want to thank you because this is really good feedback. Because what it does back end is that it forms part of Dr. Albert's report. And so we want to appreciate prioritization. What happened to the screen? Okay. End corruption, prioritization, enforcing implementation. Private sector also is somewhere there. Agriculture, in case you didn't see it, it's there. It's interesting, though, PSST, that no one wrote ATMs as just ATMs. Everyone put their priority in the ATMs because clearly these are some of the enablers. All right, so let's move to the closing ceremony. And allow me just run through a bit of our protocol because we have our Honorable Minister of State for General Duties in the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and the Honorable Sisi Mulondo is here. Can we appreciate her, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you, Honorable. And she will be closing our forum. We appreciate the Permanent Secretary and Secretary of the Treasury, who, Honorable Minister, has sat with us the whole day today. Yesterday he only left because we were opening another 5-star hotel in the Pearl of Africa. That's the only reason he left, but he was meant to be with us yesterday. We want to appreciate the IGC, our partners, the Executive Director and the Country Director who are here with us. Jonathan Lip and, of course, Dr. Richard. Please stand, Dr. Jonathan and Dr. Lip. Let's appreciate them, ladies and gentlemen. And the entire IGC family that is here. We have a Ugandan office team that is here. We want to appreciate the DST and the directors that are here. We have 3 directors here. Can we appreciate the ministry? And in a special way, the acting accountant general, Mr. Semugoma. Let's appreciate him. And all distinguished guests. Honorable Minister, we had a really rich panel of experts, including our very own from the World Bank. We have young children who are, by the way, Chemutai is Ugandan, so we have only lent her to the World Bank. She's an export to the World Bank. And all of you heads of government agencies that are present, I see development partners. I think UNIDO is here. My brother is here. And every single partner of the private sector that is present. And you had the private sector here in the room. We want to appreciate our key stakeholders across the various sectors in government, and most especially the media, fourth estate, that are present. So we would like, can we appreciate the media? They've been telling this story since yesterday. And the digital team that is here. So for those of you joining us online and watching us now on our media stations, this is our 10th High-Level Economic Growth Forum that is organized by the Ministry of Finance in partnership with the IGC. And we've come to the close of what's been an exciting 2 days conversation on what needs to be done, as we were asking on Menti, to support this tenfold growth agenda of government amidst what we see happening in the region and across the world. So we want to close, and I want to invite in a very special way our Permanent Secretary to come, make his remarks. PSU will decide. You can then invite Dr. Richard, and then later come and invite the Honorable Minister to close. Please come. Can we appreciate the Permanent Secretary, ladies and gentlemen?
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister of State for General Duties, and of course our partners, our treasury partners of 10 years. I would like, I think, to first get Dr. Newfarmer, or I don't know, between the two of you, who would want to say something. Jonathan, you come and you say something, then I will come and make a few commitments, and then I invite the Honorable Minister to close. And all we should do it in about under 10 minutes. And we are out of here. Thank you.
Thanks very much, PSST and Honourable Minister. I want to begin with thanks. I want to express my appreciation to the Minister and the Ministers of State who have supported both the preparation but also participated in the conference over the past 2 days. In particular to the PSST, Dr. Gobi, for his continued leadership, both of this forum, but much more broadly in driving effective policy here in Uganda. The Commissioner of Macro, Dr. Musisi, who's been a steadfast supporter and friend of the IGC and really responsible for much of the trajectory we've had. I'd like also to thank his team, including Millie and Rosette, for all their support here. Let me thank also the Bank of Uganda, who, as many of you may not know, is our host here in Uganda and has always been a very effective partner. I'd like to also thank our team here, of course, led by Richard Newfarmer, the country director, the senior economist who you heard from this morning, Dr. Kush, and the other economist, Maria Orwela, and then Mary Teddy Nakwewe, who is our program officer. So let me appreciate our team. And finally, let me appreciate also the UK Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, and I'll come back to you at the end, but who've been a supporter both of this conference, but much more broadly of IGC since its inception. So I'm sure the PSST won't let me summarize all of the messages that have come out of this conference, but let me just say a few things. The first is context. We're in a difficult context, a difficult global context. I think Richard mentioned this at the beginning, the PSST as well. We have uncertainty around the disruptions to global trade. We have uncertainty around AI and its potential impact. And we have perhaps the most uncertain geopolitical context that we've had for some time. So it can't be in that local context, in that international context, but in the local context, well, it cannot be business as usual, which means it cannot be policy as usual. And as the PSST told us right from the very beginning, Uganda now needs to move from macroeconomic stability to transformation, to policies that will translate into higher levels of productivity, higher levels of income, and better jobs. That message has been echoed throughout these 2 days. And we've heard again and again how important it is that both the public sector and the private sector focus on productivity as the key driver of this growth, and that productivity will happen through transformation, not through marginal changes. Transformation in terms of firms and individuals becoming more productive, transformation in terms of strengthening all of the enablers across the economy, infrastructure, but also finance, energy, etc. And transformation in the sense of people moving between sectors, people moving from unproductive jobs into more productive jobs. And as we heard in the keynote today, the real challenge is at the level of firms. Firms will be the driver of this, and the picture is a complicated picture with different types of firms that require different approaches in terms of finance, in terms of regulation, in terms of other forms of support. But we can't lose sight of the core role of firms in driving this tenfold growth. Trade will be essential to that, because trade is what will enable Uganda to achieve a greater market size than will ever be possible through its domestic market. So we need to continue to drive down trade costs and drive up access and drive up translating access into real entry of firms. We've heard about how finance is critical, both in the public finances and on the private side. In the public finances, there's a huge challenge to raise the level of taxation. And we had very useful and concrete steps from Mr. Mukunda about the way in which the tax base can be systematically broadened, starting from where we are, not starting from where we'd like to be. And then Dr. Kush also reminded us this morning of the need to manage public investment effectively. And finally, we've heard about AI and its potentially transformative potential, but also the risks that Uganda falls behind by not acting soon enough to begin to adopt these technologies. And that's not only in the private sector. Many of the quick wins are also available in the public sector. And we've seen increasing examples across Africa in some of our programs where, for example, in Zambia, we've worked very effectively with the government on building internal capabilities to use AI. And those are immediately available. So forget about agentic AI, forget about where the frontier is. There are huge gains to be had from small steps with AI and combining that with digitization and effective use of data to drive effective policy, but also to drive effective decision-making in the private sector. So all of this is telling us we have to move from diagnosis to execution, as the PSST emphasized right from the beginning, from evidence to reform, from reform to investment, and from investment to productivity, jobs, and exports. And we need to do so in a well-informed way. And again, to echo the PSST, in my opinion, is not evidence. We need to be translating now not just evidence on what's the right policy design, but hard evidence on what's working and what's not working. And that calls on government to behave differently. Government needs to learn, and it needs to be a fast learner. And it can only do that if it sets up the mechanisms for understanding whether new policies are working or not working. It is impossible to get policies 100% right ex ante. So the key to good policy is policy evaluation and assessment and learning, and ideally fast learning. In closing, the tenfold growth strategy is deliberately ambitious. Achieving it will require much more than business as usual and much more than policy as usual. It will require more productive firms, larger markets, higher domestic revenues, better forms of finance, faster adoption of technology, and a government capable not just of implementing policy, but of learning from implementation. And as we were reminded at the very beginning of this forum, tenfold growth is not simply the responsibility of government. Government must create the enabling environment, but firms must invest, must innovate, must compete, and must grow. And all of us have a role to play. For IGC, our commitment is to continue bringing rigorous evidence into that process, not simply to help identify what Uganda should do, but to work with our partners to understand what is working and what's not working, and how policy can continue to improve. Tenfold growth will not come from having all the answers today, but it will come from building the firms, institutions, partnerships that allow Uganda to keep learning and to turn that learning into action. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I also recognize our Deputy Chairperson of the Committee on National Economy, Honorable Achia Remigio. Give him a hand clap. He's the one who ensures that every policy we make in government is appropriate and pro-people. Honorable Minister, and all of you colleagues, earlier when I spoke to you yesterday and we reflected on the 10-year journey we've had with our partners, the IGC, I demonstrated one thing, and that is evidence-based policy making is indeed changing Uganda's economy. You saw where we were and where we are today. Our commitment, therefore, is to ensure that well-researched and actionable ideas from this forum are implemented and translated into impact. Already, the doctor who has spoken has helped me summarize some of the beautiful ideas that we have generated. But I want to make some commitments on behalf of government and in particular my ministry. Number one, that Uganda is going to adopt AI to solve real economic and public service problems. Start marking us from today. Going forward, 10 years down the road, if we are celebrating now 20 years of this partnership, we should come and perhaps we shall be presenting these ideas in a different format. Who knows? We shall be asking the zonks to do certain things. Don't ask me who are zonks. I also don't know, but perhaps that's where the future is going. But also, we must note that for us to get the AI to work and all these things that we have had, we must get the fundamentals right, as we had. Reliable electricity must be supplied. Affordable internet should reach much of the country. We may not reach everybody, but at least much of the country. Skills must skill ourselves. Data and institutions, we are committing to working on those fundamentals, to continuing as we have been doing to strengthen them. The second key commitment is on green compliance. This must be an area of competitive advantage. I think that's what we had, not just regulatory burden, that we are fulfilling a burden by the financials. That's why we should adhere to the green requirements, how to green our economy. So we shall use the green compliance to strengthen exports, to attract investments, and advance our tenfold growth strategy. While I was away, I was also briefed very ably, that there was a good conversation on industrial policy. And those who know me a little bit, you know, when I hear industrial policy, what happens to my heart? It starts pumping faster. I want to commit that we are going to support further transformation of Ugandan economy using industrial policy. But as we do this, we shall continue to support the winners, to scale, not to protect the losers. We have never actually intended to do so. Losers should die. Winners should be supported. We shall look beyond large farms, but also manufacturing. Our focus is going to be, once again, productivity, jobs, learning, and the spillovers, wherever they emerge. I want to tell you and assure you this is already the 10-fold growth strategy we are talking about. We need to really look at it. I'm so happy that research is showing us that now we have done a better job in designing our framework for growth going forward. The other commitment is on the export discipline. Export discipline. Our growth agenda is going to be growth-led. I mean export-led and very well diversified. We are continuing to ensure that we produce products for markets beyond Uganda. That export discipline is key. I emphasized it yesterday, I will emphasize it again, and the good thing, the researchers also told you that. But in this we shall begin, of course, supporting the farms to ensure that they start with our regional markets. So, because you know, even in a football, I support football a lot. You don't start by going to the Premier League. You start in the lower. Huh? The vicar is not known by a new farmer. But there are those other competitions, championship, and so on. You try your luck there. And then you progress and you reach the Premier League. So our farms need to be prepared for the international competition. And our regional markets have provided a very good platform for that. And you know our president is the champion of regionalism. So there is no doubt that this is at the heart of our 10-fold growth strategy. And we commit to supporting that. So those who need the risking from government, the first key requirement is export discipline. You don't come to government and you say, you see, the problem is market. I can't have enough domestic market. You are not a good candidate for support because you are engaging in non-tradable. We are sharing our own poverty. I always use this example. You know, for us to sell to ourselves the things, you are sharing poverty instead of getting prosperity. How? You get 10,000 shillings in the morning, you give it to a border guy. The border guy takes it to the one who makes chapati. The one who makes chapati takes it to the one who supplies cooking oil. The cooking oil person takes it to the one in the saloon, the barber. Then the barber shop guy takes it back to the border guy in the evening to take him home. Now, you find people very busy the whole week. They are sharing 10,000 shillings amongst themselves. An economy cannot grow by sharing poverty. We must export and get the foreign exchange, get the other money to come into the economy. So export discipline is a fundamental we must address. What also we commit going forward we are going to do fewer but better projects. Okay? Projects which are well prepared, fully funded, executed on time, and able to deliver the returns promised at appraisal. We have already started reforms to enforce this discipline, as we have continuously told you, and in the budget strategy for next year we shall demonstrate to you how we are going to do these differently. We are also going to finance our growth sustainably going forward. We have already been doing it, but we are going to put in more effort by plugging first the leakages. I think it was Julius who was saying, don't look far, start with what is available. We already have a lot of money in Uganda, but how are we using it is key. So we shall plug those leakages, mobilize more domestic resources first, and then diversify into the cheaper and innovative capital. We also commit, we are going to stop treating private sector as a homogeneous item. We have already been very good at this. I don't know, we thought we have already been so good, but today I've learned a few things. You know, in Uganda we have almost a wealth fund now for everybody, including this man who was saying, for us, you have left us out. We have so many wealth funds. So we are not treating the private sector homogeneously. But I've learned also today from research that financing firms alone does not automatically create the net jobs. It doesn't create what we want to do. What matters is actually markets. What matters is markets. I've learned that from the professor here. Therefore, we are going to build a segmented financing system, but also helping the productive firms to ensure that they go ahead to scale and access larger markets. I've told you, starting with our regional markets. Moving from market access to market penetration. We have been, how do we support these firms to actually penetrate these markets within the region first? The EAC, the COMESA, and Africa Free Continental Trade Area, before we think of taking them to where big guys play, the premiership, where they play in Europe, in America, and everywhere. So we have learned these lessons, among others. To cut the long story short, therefore, the lessons reinforce what we committed to in our 10-fold growth strategy. Doing things differently, investing in new sources of growth, taking advantage of the emerging opportunities, but also taking advantage of the emerging markets. That's what our 10-fold growth committed. What's the key message from the forum which we have had, which I'm taking? The evidence is increasingly clear. Our job now is execution. I have no doubt now that we are doing the right thing in terms of policy making. Our main task now as government and the private sector and all partners is to do what the conversations here have asked us to do, to ensure that we act on it. With those remarks, I thank you very much, IGC, for the support you have given us in this 10th forum, but also over the 10 years. We have been working together. Let's continue this partnership. This is a beautiful marriage, no issues. We need to carry it forward. I also want to thank you, my team at the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. I usually call it Team Finance, for the fantastic job that you continue doing. You're a pocket of effectiveness. Please continue with this work. All of you, from my DST here, the deputy, to the entire team, as you can see it. The accountant general is here, the director Maris is here, Director Kagwa there, the commissioner in charge of these conversations, Commissioner Macro, usually tells us no on everything except Economic Growth Forum. There he says yes. So, and then the entire team. You're a fantastic team, doing a good job. But also to our ministers for the policy and the political guidance that they keep giving us. With those remarks, I take the singular honor to invite the Honorable Minister of State for General Duties to come and close this forum officially. Honorable C.C. Mlondo.
The Permanent Secretary, PSST, Head of Agencies, civil societies around, our development partners, representatives of the private sector, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the State Minister for Finance in charge of General Duties. My name is C.C. Mlondo. It is an honor to preside over the closing of the 10th High-Level Economic Growth Forum here at Sheraton Hotel, Kampala. For 2 days, we have engaged robustly on one question: how to deliver tenfold growth and transform the lives of our people in Uganda. On behalf of the government of Uganda and the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, I thank the organizers, including the International Growth Center, the researchers, speakers and panelists, discussants, and each one of you for your candid contribution. Your ideas, data, and challenges have made this forum practical and not just theoretical. Thank you so much. As the Permanent Secretary to Treasury has highlighted, we commit to translate these actionable recommendations into a concrete policy measures that will inform the financial year 2027-2028 budget and medium-term growth agenda. The 10th High-Level Economic Growth Forum has ended, but the work starts now. As he has said, it's time for implementation. As our president said, the head of the state, that this is Chisanja, no more sleep. Let us leave this room with a sense of urgency that something has to be done if we are to achieve this growth. Uganda has the resources, the people, and the plan. What we need is discipline in implementation, as it has been all around in these discussions. I therefore declare the 10th High-Level Economic Growth Forum officially closed. May God bless you and bless the Republic of Uganda, for God and my country.
I had requested the minister to stay so that the PSST, Dr. Jonathan and Dr. Richard can join her with Dr. Albert for this first photo before I invite the next set of people. So, Dr. Albert, can we appreciate the Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen? I know we are losing our live audience. We want to thank you. Those of you who joined us on the various platforms, on the TV stations, thank you. This was the 10th High-Level Economic Growth Forum, formally closed by